everybody, I'm Merisu the Art Sheep, and thank you so much for checking out today's video. And today we are drawing the lovely Asuka Langley Soryu, or Asuka Shikinami Soryu, or is it Soryu Shikinami? I don't know. I don't care. We're drawing Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion franchise, and the reasons why I decided to draw Asuka from Neon Genesis, especially so close to my last two speed paints, are a couple. Reason number one, I just got done watching the Rebuild films with my brother. He absolutely adores Neon Genesis Evangelion, and we were looking for something to watch at night because we usually watch something at night, and I said, why don't we watch Rebuild? So we ended up watching them, and that kind of put me in an Evangelion mood. And then recently, if you've been keeping up with my social media post, you know that I got a new computer, and my brother, Nora Vanguard, completely helped me out big time. He drove me to the computer store, he negotiated with the people on telling them exactly what I needed, because I didn't know at all what I needed. I tried to go there myself and look around, and I had absolutely no clue whatsoever. But he knew exactly what I needed, and got me settled with the very perfect one. And then he also lent me money for the drive because it needed more storage, and then he set it up and got it all ready to go. So because of that, I was really grateful, and I thought it would be really nice to draw something that he would like. And he absolutely adores Neon Genesis Evangelion to the point of where it's not just his favorite anime, but it's one of his favorite shows of all time. So yeah, I asked Nora Vanguard, hey, who's best girl in Neon Genesis Evangelion to you? And he said Maya. And I'm like, no, screw that, dude. I'm not drawing her. She's got a boring design. We're drawing one of the main girls. So it was either between Mari, Rei, or Asuka, because for some reason Misato wasn't coming to my mind in this scenario, which is kind of weird because Misato is my favorite character from Neon Genesis Evangelion. But in the end, like I said, we went for Asuka, because it pretty much came down to either Rei or Asuka, and between the two of them, I like Asuka more, and I think Nora Vanguard likes Asuka more too. Didn't really seem to start liking Rei until the Rebuild movies. Anyway, so for this drawing, I just picked a really simple pose, because that ties into the next reason, and that is, why are we doing the speed paints so soon? Usually I do my speed paints like in the middle of the month, or like in the end of the month. Now, granted, by the time I actually get this out, it might be a little bit farther into the month than I am actually working on the speed paint. But the reason why I am doing this so close to my last two speed paints, if you remember, I did the two speed paints last month because one, I ended up not making a speed paint for July, so that was one motivation for doing two speed paints that month. And then on top of that, it was my anniversary on YouTube, 8 years, baby, and it was also Hatsune Miku's 16th anniversary. So because of that, I wanted to draw an illustration for both of them, and I managed to whip one out before I shut down my old computer, and that was really amazing. But I wanted to put this computer to use, because this is the main reason why I got this computer, was to make speed paint. So I wanted to put it to the test, and also I wanted to get a speed paint out of the way so that way I could work on Revolution Full Color, because I made a bet with my brother that whoever could finish their big project by the end of the month will buy the winner ramens, and then if the person loses, then we have to change our Discord icon to a land whale, who I will not name. But anyway, so I gotta work on Revolution Full Color, because I think working on deadlines, giving yourself a deadline, is kind of good. Sometimes it could be bad to rush, but I think it's a little bit good to have some kind of deadline. So I wanted to keep this picture relatively simple. I actually had a completely different pose in mind. The concept of her kind of standing, holding onto a frame, looking out at the sky was still the same, but it was going to be a completely different angle, not bird's eye view, but more of like a 3/4 tilt angle, and then it would have been not a full body. I also chose to draw her in her school uniform because that's the image that came to my mind originally, and I already drew her in her plug suit once a long time ago. I think that drawing was also for my brother. It was for his birthday. That one's really old. But anyway, for this one, as you can see, I got the perspective kind of wonked. I was rushing a little bit, and I didn't really have time to think about it, although I do think I did fix it a little bit later on, not because I fixed the actual perspective, more because I actually just hid it behind a bunch of filters. Because that's what we do here on the Sheep channel. When we can't fix our mistakes, we hide them under 15 miles of layers. So yeah, anyway, that's enough about talking about the drawing. Let's talk about my new computer. Now, if you want to know what kind of computer I have, I can't say because I don't know. Like I said, my brother was the one who did all that stuff, so I actually don't know the exact model of my computer, although if you want to know, I can look it up and I can tell you in the comment section below. But it works wonderful. The first thing I tested it out for was my Hatsune Miku drawing. I rendered it on here, and DaVinci opens up very nicely. It actually opens up from the taskbar. Before my old computer wouldn't do it, and it just rendered so quickly. I did also learn a shortcut to rendering too, which I never tried on my old computer, I admit, but at the same time it was just so fast, and I just couldn't believe it. And the startup time of everything was just so fast, and it just was really smooth. But I had it run Speedpaint on here, and I gotta say, for the Speedpaint, it really worked well. I was really pushing it. Oh, also, I need to mention this, because the first time I recorded this audio, I forgot to mention this. I also have a new tablet. Yeah, I lost my old tablet, and so because I wasn't sure if I was able to find it, well, I didn't lose the tablet, I lost the pen. And because I wasn't sure if I was gonna find it, I ended up buying a new one. And I figured, okay, this will replace it, because the pen's too expensive, and then if I do find it, hey, it's still good to have on hand. But in the end, I just decided to install my new tablet onto my computer, and I gave my old tablet to my brother. And I gotta say, it works good. It seems to be just the updated model of my old one. Welcomes into a small black, and I don't know the exact model number of this either. I'm really bad at this stuff. Yeah, so sorry about that. But like I said, works really fine. Probably a little bit more scratchier than the other one. But that could also be because the other one got so smooth because of all the hand oil that was on it from my hands. Yeah, it doesn't sound pretty, but it's true. It's kind of got like a deep mark of where all my oils on my hand just kind of seeped into it, and now it's permanently on there, and it's very smooth. Also, this tablet's a little bit smaller than my old one, but at the same time, the drawing space doesn't actually seem smaller because my other one, I guess, had a lot of empty space. Anyway, a little bit about the drawing. I added a cat because at the time I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I just wanted the roof to be a little bit more full and not so empty. So because of that, I just thought it would be nice to add a cat. If I remember correctly, the character Karo was originally supposed to have a form that was supposed to be like a cat or something. At least that's what my brother said. I don't know if that's right or not. Don't quote me. If I'm wrong, blame him. Anyway, like I said, the perspective for this drawing wasn't perfect, and I probably wish I would have added a little bit more to the backgrounds, but I am mostly satisfied with it. Anyway, onto the computer. So pretty much once I got a computer, the very first thing I needed to do was, install my programs, clipstudiopaint, painttoolsai. Those took a little bit of time because I had to re-get the licenses for those, but I managed to get it, and I did it by myself, so that was nice. I also, got all the other stuff installed. I can't speak. Discord, Steam, Bellmaker, Blender, anything else that I might be needing. And then the very first thing I did is organize all my music. I have a whole bunch of playlists that are loaded with a whole bunch of songs, and each of them are mood specific, and they were very important. And in the end, I have to redo it anyway because I realized I put my music folder in the wrong drive. So oopsie, gotta fix that. But I'm gonna do that after I work on Revolution Full Color because that takes a long time. Anyway, after I was done with my music, I then had to organize clipstudiopaint, and for the most part it took a while, but it went very smoothly. First I had to get all my shortcuts reorganized. Well, first I had to reorganize just the program in general. The color wheel is like at the bottom on the default mode of Clip Studio Paint. I like it at the top because that's where it is on painttoolsai. I also now like the tool properties window to not be on the same level as where the brushes are, because I want a wider view of brushes. It's a little hard to explain, but anyway, point being is I like it in different areas so that way there's more room. I also like Clip Studio Paint to be on light mode because I like the burning sensation of the white in my eyes. And also the dark mode seems to be harder for me to see, I've noticed. So, yeah, and then I had to re-download all of my assets, and some of the assets were deleted. It was very sad. I was like, oh, this item's been deleted, but if you still have it, then it's fine. And I'm like, well, I don't still have it, because I had to uninstall Clip Studio Paint, and some of them were my favorite things. Like, there was this one filter auto action, and I don't know what it did, so I can't recreate it, and it's gone. It's gone. And that was very sad. And had that been here, I would have used it. In fact, I used it on my cafe drawing and my Hatsune Miku drawing because I really like that. Nuts. Speaking of gone, I actually was going to record a video of me going through my Clip Studio Paint and showing people how I had it all set up. And I was going to say, this is going to be for two reasons. One, to show you guys, but also so that way if I get a new computer and I have to reinstall Clip Studio Paint, I'll know where I put everything, and I never did that, so in the end I had to guess, and it was just like, I can't remember, I didn't have enough pictures, screenshots of Clip Studio Paint, and like, there were some folders I realized I never opened up on a Speedpaint, so I have no idea what they were called or how they were organized, so I was just like, okay, we're just gonna have to accept it, just forget about it, accept the fact that that's lost the time and just start anew. That's what we had to do. Anyway, talking a little bit about the painting. If you're wondering why Asuka's hand's so weird, is one, I've got troubles with hands. I think every artist has problems with hands, and I didn't feel like fixing it because in the end, it was just going to be covered up by the door frame. I'm referring to her right hand. Well, it's to the left, but it's her right hand. And yeah, so that's the reason why that looks so weird. That's also why her hair looks a little weird. See? Bye-bye. Covered up by the door frame. Never to be seen again. And I gotta say, I like Asuka's design. It's nice. I think that's one thing I like about the 90 anime's design, is that they're simple, but yet they make them iconic. And I really think it works. I always think it's amazing. In fact, I was awing and oohing the entire time for Evangelion because it was like, they had to think about all this stuff, like how all the ships work, how all the Evas work, how all the parts of Nerve work, and it's just incredible. The Rebuild movies are animated gorgeously. I can't say I understood everything, but I did enjoy it, and it was really nice to look at the pretty animation. It's funny, when my brother gets to talking about that show, he can just talk for hours about it, and I'm just like, Yeah, I didn't understand anything, but it's nice to talk. And, so, yeah, I think that's the one thing I like about Asuka's design the most, is those, clips. They kind of look like cat ears. I think that's kind of the point, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I also had to decide if I was going to do a little bit more of a muted color palette or a vivid color palette. In the end, well, my original goal was a muted color palette to make it look a little bit more realistic and gritty, but then I kind of thought maybe a bright color palette because I knew I was going to put some filters over it. I lost the filter that was my favorite, but I still had some everythings that I wanted to try. And that's really what I wanted to do. I just really wanted to put this to the limit. Now, granted, this wasn't probably the best drawing to really judge my capabilities with my new equipment, just in the simple fact that it only took me 5 hours to do the entire thing. It was a very fast drawing, but at the same time, it wasn't like I wasn't pushing it. Like, I even use the Clip Studio Paint time record feature, and I don't use that when I'm recording a Speedpaint. I think I did it once, and it took forever because on my old computer it was running so slow, and it nearly shut down several times. Now, granted, on this computer, it did almost shut down once, but it did not. it recovered itself. It had that moment where clipstudiopaint is taking a long time to respond. Would you choose to close it or wait for a response? And, you know, where screen goes white and stuff, and I'm just like, I wait for a response, I wait, and then it comes back. Now, sometimes it did come back from my old computer, and then sometimes it didn't, it just shut down. And clipstudiopaint does have an auto-save feature, like an auto-recover feature. That's the word I'm looking for. And sometimes it does auto-recover, and then sometimes it doesn't. And then sometimes even when it does auto-recover, it ends up recovering it a few steps behind. And sometimes I forget to save. So because of that, I have to figure out what I did and redo it. And it's very hard when you've already done it on camera, because then you have to try to replicate it or explain then. So yeah, that's not fun. But in this time, this ran very smoothly on my new computer. And I'm very, 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 very satisfied. I can definitely say if you are someone who wants to do speed paints like me, don't get an all-in-one. All-in-one's probably good if you're like just doing simple stuff on computer, but if you're doing what I'm doing, don't get an all-in-one. It doesn't run DaVinci Resolve right, and it doesn't run video games, because that's another thing. A lot of my video games ran very slow. In fact, the video game Stray and this one Sword Online video game that I owned both crashed. They would not play. And then Tales games, my computer would hum like a gazillion miles a minute. It was so annoying. Basically, the only computer games that my computer could play is Automa games, visual novels. So yeah, so that was a little annoying, but that was one of the things I tested. And Stray did not shut down on this computer, and I'm looking forward to playing that game because it looks so cute. You get to play as a cat. I killed the cat several times by mistake. He died on my watch. I'm not gonna be good at it, but it was fun. Anyway, so this is where I think I alluded to earlier, where I just cover everything up with filters. I wanted to make things look weird and kind of off-putting because that's the way I feel when I watch this show. So I'm gonna match my feeling of the show with this picture. And I thought it'd be just kind of interesting if Asuka's just looking at the world being distorted and destroyed. So yeah, that's what I ended up going for. And I gotta say, like I said, I'm really happy with it, and I think I did really push my computer to the limit, and I really did give it a good test, and everything worked out really nicely, and I really do enjoy my new setup, and I'm so happy. And now I'm going to use it to work on Revolution in full color, because I gotta get that finished. I feel like I was in the middle of saying something prior to me talking about video games, but I can't remember. Oh well. Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a lot of fun with it, and I will be back with another one probably at the end of the month or October. Until then, if you liked, do all the YouTube things. If you did not like, thank you for watching this far anyway. It means a lot to me, and until I make another video, Lord willing, I will see you then. Bye!